Today we will learn about global state management. So what is global state and why we need global state? We know if we are creating a React Native app, it is nothing but a group of components, right? It may have a parent screen, that is also a component. Within screen, we have again different elements. Those are also components. Like if we bifurcate this screen, this top header, which is written home product list, that is a component. Within home product list, that home icon, that is a separate component. Then below that, we have two different buttons. So those are two different components, right? So we are wrapping different components and we are structuring it in such a way so that we can create a screen, we can create another component, okay? Now, without state, components are generally useless, right? So we need state to manage those things. And that state can be a local state or it can be a state of parent. So when you are passing something from parent to child, that is a parent state, right? Now, what is the issue here? We know that when state updates, then everything will re-render. So whatever child are there in that component, those will also re-render. For example, in this home screen, we have a state. And that state we are using between these components, just passing them as a prop. Okay. So when that state changes, all these components will re-render, even if they don't use that. Okay. We may pass that state to only a single child component, but all other childs will also re-render. That's why we need local state. Okay, so if that state don't need everywhere, then we will locally specify it. Suppose a state is required within the button. Okay, only it is related to those buttons. Then we will mention that state, we will create that state within that button only. But if a state will be used throughout the component, like the theme, okay, the theme can be dark theme, black theme, dark and light theme. So that will be used throughout the file, throughout the application. So in that case, we need a global state. Okay. And that global state we will pass to different props, different components as a prop. Okay. Now this is called prop drilling. So a global state passed to a prop to a component inside it as a prop, and that component passed to another component inside it as a prop, and that component passed to another component. Okay. And if you forget somewhere, suppose we have this parent component A. Within parent component, we have another child component B. Within child component, we have another child component C. Now suppose you want to pass something from A to C, then how you will do? There is no way, because C is not immediate child of A. Okay, C is child of B and B is child of A. So you have to pass from A to B, then B to C. Okay, think of a child component which has 10th nested level or 11th nested level. Then we have to pass it through all these 10 parents, even they don't use it. Okay, this is the drawback, and this is called prop drilling. To avoid this, we can create a global state so that directly from A we can use something in D, E, okay, any child. No need to pass it through other components. directly we will use that. Okay, so it means global state can be assessed anywhere, okay, directly instead of assessing through props. Got it? So this is the overall concept of global state. Okay. Now there are so many solutions, but here first we will learn about zustand. Why? Because zustand is easier to use, no boilerplates, very simple. Okay, and I always highlight this. If you are learning something new, then your example should be simpler, the smaller one. Okay, so first we will create the problem, then we will create the solution. So let's go to our app component. This was our app component, right? For now, let us create a new app component. App zustand.js. Why I am creating this? Because I don't want to disturb the existing app component. We will use that later. But for now, only to learn zustand, we will use this app component. So import view from React Native, not view base, as well as text. Now let's create app. This name can be same, not an issue. So export default app. Okay, and it will return a view counter. Okay, just an example. Counter app. Okay, now we will go to our index.js, and here instead of importing app from src app, we will import it from src app zustand. Okay, just an example counter app. Now we are accessing this file. Got it? Yes, everything is fine. Now let's create a button. And remember, always the text components should be within text, and we will use this custom button here. It will be self-closing. Okay, so we have an increase, and another button we need a decrease, right? So we will pass a prop here, title, and that title we will use here. Okay, now title is empty. So if title is empty, then what we will do? We will just display send. Okay, but if title is given, then it will display that. So one is increase, another one decrease. and another one reset. Okay, we have three different buttons, but these buttons should be within a single row, right? So let us create a container. It will return a view which will wrap the children, and its style will be flex direction row. Okay, so here let us say button container. Now all the buttons are in a row. Okay, let us style this a little bit. Padding 10. Background color. Let us say 0. Okay, we can find a color, right? So let me search something. A nice button with RGB 5135, 168. Okay, and border radius to let us make it 5. Yes, now it looks good. And margin, let us say 10. Okay, and here flex direction row and justify content space between. Got it? Now let's create our state for counter. So counter, set counter, and use state 0. We will import use state from React, and we'll display this counter here. So counter text return a text component with the counter value, and that we will receive as a prop. And here counter text, and why we are doing like this, because we want to know how state can be passed as a prop, right? We did it in our last video as well while creating the chart, cart screen and favorite screen in our e-commerce app. Okay, so this is our counter. Let's style it a little bit. Text align, center, and font size, let us say 20. Okay, now looks good. So similarly, let's create a title. Title text, and here we will accept the title and display here. Okay, and this font size, let's see, 30, and another title, just an example. Okay, so just an example, counter up, counter is 0, then increase, decrease, and reset. Got it? Now, if we want to change the state, then we have to pass this set counter to custom button. Okay, so set counter equal set counter. Okay, now this one we will use here within our custom button. So as it is a custom button, instead of set counter, let us say set state. It would be better, right? Or for now, let's keep as it is because it is only a counter up. Okay, so on press, set counter, assess the previous counter and decrease the value by 1 if this is a decrease button. Okay, if the title is increase, then increase it by 1. If the title is reset, then reset it. So how we can do that? For that, actually we have to write the function here because we don't know whether it is increase, decrease. Okay, so instead of writing it here, let us receive it as a on press. Okay, and here we will write on press equal this complete function. Okay, so now on press is a prop which passed this complete function to this custom button. Now let's do the same thing with our decrease and reset. So for decrease, it will be, sorry, the first one was increase, right? So +1, then decrease, then reset. Okay, now click on increase, it will increase the counter. Click on decrease, it will decrease the counter. click on reset, it will reset the counter. Increase, decrease, reset. Increase, decrease, reset. Okay. Now the next step. So this example uses a use state to create a local state in app. Then that state is passed to child components like custom button and counter text to use there. Okay. Now what we will do, instead of this, we will create our zustand store. Now to use zustand, first we have to install it, right? So let us install it. npm I zustand. Okay, it is installed. Now let me run the app again and scan the QR code. Okay. Okay. Now we will replace this one with our zustand. So let's create a zustand store first. We will do everything here in this single file so that it will easy for you to understand. But you know that you can write this in a separate file and import from there, right? So let us import create from zustand, and this create will help us to create a store. Use, let us say use counter, because this we will use to store our counter state. So set here, first we will mention our initial state. So our initial state is 0. Then the update state functions, or in term of Redux you can say reducers, and set will update the state. So state, okay, here we are receiving our previous state, then we will update it with okay, and to decrease, then set state.count -1, and similarly to reset, state.count equals 0. Okay, so here we are updating our state, okay, with these new values. Okay, now how to use this? We don't need this local state, right? Because it is global now. So if we don't need this local state, then we don't need this to pass as well. From here, from here, okay, let's remove this for now. Now we will use our global state with zustand. So first let us come to our counter. Here we are displaying the counter state, right? So we are not receiving it as a prop. Counter or count, what it is? Count. So count equal use counter. Okay, that's it. No wrapping, nothing. If you have used Redux, then you may know that you have to wrap with a store provider to your whole app, right? But here it is not required. So now still you can see this 0. If I change it to something else, let us say 6, and reload the app. I don't know why hot reloading is not working. It should. Okay, the counter is 6. So means we are properly assessing our state and displaying here in our counter text. Okay. Now let's use it here. Increase, decrease, and reset. And pass it. Okay. Now increase, decrease, reset. Everything working fine, right? But you may say, sir, still we are passing it as a prop after receiving here, right? Yes, we are doing that because we have the privilege of using custom button directly inside our app component. Okay, that's why. But think of a scenario, suppose we are using this between our button container. Let's remove it from here and use it inside button container. Okay, then what? Directly you can remove it as well from here and paste it here. Okay, so now our app component don't have any state and we are not passing anything as a prop, but still our counter app works. Okay, because we have a global state here. So this global state can be assessed from any child component. It may be at any depth. Okay, and that can be used. So the state can be managed from any child component. But remember, you use global state if only that need to be global. Okay, if you need a specific state that is specific to that specific child, that state is needed only within that child, you don't need anywhere else, then no need to make that state global. Okay, make that local only. Okay, so in our next session we will implement this zustand in our e-commerce app with the cart and favorite screen. Okay, and are we missing something? No, let's keep it simple for now. Gradually when we move in our app and we see different use cases, at that time we will learn that complex state management. Okay, no need to make this tutorial complex. Okay, got it. Now let's revise what we did. In case of our previous example, if we have a local state here in app, Then to use it within our custom button, we have to pass to button container. Then from button container, we have to pass to button, custom button, right? But in this current example, directly we can use that global state within any component where we want. Okay. To use that global state and the reducers to update those states, we will use counter. And this is a custom hook and it follows all the rules of React hooks. Okay, the same rules. So no need to discuss those rules. Again, you already aware of that. That same rules will be followed here. Okay, thank you.